Yeah, but let's get right into it. Like I said, we're not going to have topics this week. We're just going to be doing predictions for PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and then everybody else. So we're going to start off with the PlayStation predictions. I'll go first, and we'll go in a round robin kind of style, and we'll discuss. So my first one should get you happy, Jordan. So my first prediction is that I think this is going to be the year of JRPGs. And the reason I say this is I think that Persona 4, Gravity Rush 2, Nier Automata, and Ni no Kuni 2 are all going to exceed sales expectations. I think that people are getting in this kind of open world fatigue, and I think that people, and this kind of leans into my second prediction that I'll do later, but I think a lot of people are looking for different types of games to play, and though JRPGs are beloved by a lot of people, I think they are still a kind of niche genre. And I think that, Persona 4 is, Persona 5, I don't know why I said Persona 4, sorry about that. Persona 5, Gravity Rush 2, Ni no Kuni 2 especially, I think they have a lot of ground in marketing. Ni no Kuni 2 looks like a Miyazaki film, right? So I think that can pull a lot of people in. Persona 5 looks like a very awesome, stylish time. People who played Persona know how awesome it is, and I think they'll be a huge factor in getting people to that game. And Gravity Rush 2, I think, is interesting enough, and it can market itself enough to be an interesting superhero-esque kind of game. And obviously a lot of times sequels do sell better than the originals. But yeah, my prediction is that it'll be a solid year for JRPGs. I just named all of the PlayStation ones because they always have the strongest lineup of JRPGs. And we might get some weird indies here and there. But for the most part, yeah, I think they're all going to exceed sales expectations.
You also have Dragon Quest 8
Yeah.
re-releasing on
I think
3DS.
11 might be
Yep.
coming out next year as
And
well.
11, I don't remember if it is next year or not, but that's the new one that, yeah, should be. I think it should be
I
next
know.
year.
I don't know if it's you really consider it a JRPG, but another interesting Japanese-esque game coming out, Scalebound, I believe it's called. Is that on Xbox?
Yeah, that's on Xbox,
That
yeah.
one. That one looks. I wish that was coming to PlayStation. I'm not gonna be able to play it, but it looks very cool. That one looks cool as well.
Yeah, I think people are just getting the reason I came with this prediction is I just think people are getting fatigued with the same thing over and over again. I think it will be a great time for like the JRPG to shine. I would never call myself a huge fan of the JRPG genre, not because I don't like the games, but I was never introduced to them younger, so I'm kind of getting into them now. Like I still need to go back and I want to play Chrono Trigger a lot. It's just a genre I've never been familiar with, but I do appreciate it and I do like them. Like Ni no Kuni 2 actually amongst a lot of games is might be a system seller for me for PS4, which is strange because I don't know if a lot of
Really?
people are going to buy PS4 for Ni no Kuni 2, but like
No, absolutely, man.
yeah, I love Miyazaki. Like Ni no Kuni, I actually might end up picking up on sale because I do own a PS3. I bought it for Last of Us. And those games, it just looks beautiful. Like I really appreciate good art in games, and everyone says that the first Ni no Kuni was astounding, and it's like Pokemon kind of mixed with the Miyazaki film. So that sounds
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, but that's my prediction. I think you guys have said everything about that. What's Jordan? What's your first prediction for PlayStation for the year of 2017?
My first prediction. Well, I thought about it for a little bit, and I basically came up with that I believe that next year, holiday 2017, Days Gone and Detroit Become Human are going to be the two exclusives that Sony
Man,
decides to push
that was
for the holidays.
Okay.
that was mine too. I had Days Gone coming out next November.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Days Gone is almost a definite. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I know Sony, Shuhei, and all of them have been saying that they want to learn from their past mistakes and not just announce release dates. Days Gone has been in development for so long. I'd be kind of shocked if it didn't come out next holiday. And Detroit has also been in development for some time, as far as I know. I don't follow that studio too much. Quantic Dream, I believe.
Yeah,
That's them, right?
Quantic Dream. Yeah.
Okay. I don't follow them too closely, but I did play Heavy Rain. I really enjoyed Heavy Rain. I missed Beyond Two Souls, and I'm probably never going to play that, but that also looked pretty interesting. But I am excited for both those games. Both of their E3 trailers really got me hyped up. So I'm hoping, and fingers crossed, that that'll be the holiday games for PlayStation. I don't think God of War or some of the... Maybe Spider-Man as well, but I don't think God of War
Yeah.
is going to make it out this year.
One of my strongest contrarian opinions that you just made me realize, I think Beyond Two Souls is a better game than Heavy Rain. To me, the story and everything, I liked it a lot more. And that's a super minority opinion. Everyone loves Heavy Rain. A lot of people hated Beyond Two Souls. I'm a huge Ellen Page fan, so maybe that goes into it. But yeah, a lot of people had the problem with the story being told out of order, which... I mean, I had an easy time following it. I guess some people just, I don't know. I thought it was pretty easy to streamline that. I have one of my second prediction is actually funny in comparison to what you just said about those titles coming out next year. So I'll get to that later. But Dom, what's yours? He took one of yours. I think you also said Days Gone is coming out next November. So
No, and it's weird. I feel exactly the same way. Days Gone feels like it actually could be farther along than we know, and then God of War, and not, obviously Death Stranding and so on are kind of farther down. But yeah, next one I'll give out is PSVR gets a price drop, probably around E3 time next year.
I can see it.
Especially if sales are as bad as rumors suggest. I could see them, trying to unload and either completely cut the cord with this thing or just get it into as many hands as they can and cut their losses to try to garner interest in it that way. Because to me, this is the kind of thing that you kind of have to sell it at a loss just to get it into the hands of as many people as possible for it to be viable long term. So I think they're going to be like, so I'm saying 350 probably with something bundled in kind of thing.
Did you see their PR spin with the sales of it? They said it's already sold more than the Vive and what was the other one, Oculus?
Yep.
Well, of course it's going to sell more. It's half the price.
Right.
You'd expect it to sell way more than that. So yeah, I'm with you there. I could definitely see that getting a price drop.
Plus, the number of people who have PS4s, around 50 million, and the number of people who have capable PCs for Vive or Oculus is, I don't know the real number, but it's got to be less than
higher
that.
Because most graphics cards that come out now are coming out compatible, but it is
this past year
not a super trendy thing yet, technically.
Mm-hmm.
I think on that point of the price drop, I think something that Sony could do that might help them out. They're also very strong in the TV business, so maybe if they started selling it as a Sony product as opposed to a PlayStation product, something that could be adopted by the PlayStation audience and their other consumer audience, which is admittedly probably pretty large. Most people know who Sony is. For 350 or 300, I think more people would definitely get involved than if they didn't need the PlayStation 4 system to experience everything that VR has to offer.
Also, it might be that they're not fully committed to the PSVR, but maybe they're not 100% confident in it yet. Like, it hasn't gotten to the point where they're willing to have that big marketing push. A lot of the sales are reflected by the fact that they haven't done really any marketing outside of like Taco Bell commercials that they did when it was first coming out for giveaways. I could totally see a price drop there. Yeah. So my second prediction actually is opposite of you guys. So I put that, and this is just me being a cynic, is I don't think God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, or Detroit Become Human come out next year. Not that any of them don't get a release date for next year, but in Sony fashion, some of them will get delayed. I think God of War is an absolute no for next year. Spider-Man is an absolute no. Detroit Become Human and Days Gone are the two, like you guys said, are maybes or more probables, but I could definitely see them being delayed because we're kind of used to that looking at Sony's games.
I'd be kind of shocked. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'd be kind of shocked if they had all of those games at E3 and not a single one came out next year. Like if Days Gone just comes out, that's cool. But like I'd be really shocked if like they had all of those games at E3 and not a single one makes it. That'd be crazy. I know we have some of the VR games they showed though. I think they're coming out this year.
Oh, Knack 2 might come out in their place.
Oh God.
Knack 2 VR experience.
Well, and that's the big thing too. Is like, so one of my biggest concerns with their press conference for E3 last year was like, they had Horizon Zero Dawn, which was supposed to be coming out this year, and then it got delayed, obviously. But I was like, none of these games, like almost every game they showed could easily not come out next year either. Spider-Man didn't even have a title. God of War, though, looked amazing, looked very early on. Looked like a super vertical slice. Days Gone, I think, looked the most done out of everything, and Detroit Become Human too. But I was like, yeah, they're gonna have a press conference of almost everything that doesn't come out next year, and people are like, oh, this is a great hype trailer, and then on the opposite side, people are complaining, why are companies showing their games too early over and over again, so we'll see. It's interesting. That's my super cynical prediction.
The thing, just before we end, the thing that gives me hope is when we did see a lot of those games, evidently I'm pretty sure they said that they were being played in real time.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully at least one of them comes out, if not two of them, for all you PlayStation guys out there. Do you guys have any more PlayStation predictions, Jordan?
Yeah, just one more. It's a simple one, but I think at E3 2017, Sony will bring a major exclusive franchise to VR. Ooh. I don't know what franchise, but I think it will happen.
Like an exclusive experience, or like
Like I would hope that it's an actual game. Maybe something that you can play in VR and regular, like maybe like Resistance, a new Resistance reboot. I can't think of what else because I can only think of shooters when it comes to VR. But I mean, an RPG could be kind of interesting. But I definitely think it's something that Sony should. I mean, they did it with the Vita. Like we saw Uncharted, we saw Gravity Rush, we saw a lot of first party Sony owned studios make games. I think they'd be stupid not to put their studios to work on the PlayStation VR, or at least not like Naughty Dog or anything like that. But you know what I mean.
And Resistance is first person, right? So
Yes.
totally work. Yeah. That'd be interesting. Or like an Infinite. I could see them doing like an Infamous game, like a side spin-off thing too, or something.
Oh yeah, definitely with like the PlayStation Move controllers, you're like
Yeah.
shooting lightning bolts and crap like that.
I will give them props. They are willing to commit to stuff outside of like the PlayStation Move. They are willing to commit hard to stuff with their stuff. So, I think that's a good prediction. I think they're gonna. I mean, look, they already made a deal with like Resident Evil. So it's like it's interesting to see where they're willing to try to negotiate and try to get some PSVR experiences that make you want to own the peripheral. So, yeah, I think it's a very logical and well reasoned prediction. Hopefully for all you PlayStation gamers.
All right, I got one more. Jared, you're going to roll your eyes because I'm always the one wanting to talk about this when seemingly no one else does. But I'm thinking that PlayStation Now is going to get a new pricing structure, and its catalog, which is actually pretty good already, is going to get expanded like rapidly. So right now you can only subscribe at a month or 3 months or a year at a time to PlayStation Now, and then you can play whatever you want. I think they're going to go back to you could rent a game, just the game, for $5 and you get it for 7 days kind of thing. I think they're going to go somewhere in that direction. This is just guessing that they're not making much money on it right now, so they're going to want to change things,
Yeah.
especially after they invested. Yeah, after they invested so much money to get this up and running. Expanding the library is the biggest thing.
Well, yeah,
Man, I
Xbox
think-
just hit 300 backwards compatible titles, 300 plus.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah.
And regardless how much that gets used, like that's a huge selling point for Xbox. That PlayStation, it's even with PlayStation Now, it's obviously not the same, not nearly as good, but they don't seem to be advertising it as much, at least from what I've seen. So I think they're going to completely, full force get behind this a little bit more. If not, then they're just going to have to drop it someday here. But that's my prediction.
Xbox actually recently released that over 50% of gamers who have backwards compatible titles play them. So
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's a good rate of people. I only have one more prediction left, and it's not really. It's like a softball. It's nothing like crazy or anything. But I think Destiny 2, whatever that is, whatever they call it, will come out at the end of next year, and I think it'll be the headline for PlayStation. I think it'll be their big blow. I think they have a huge deal with Activision, and Activision wants this to sell as well or better than the first Destiny. So I think it'll be their headliner. I think it'll be a huge blowout of like, here's what we changed. It'll be a big demonstration on stage. And yeah, I think that Destiny 2 will headline PlayStation. That's not a drastic thing to say, but they were at they're almost at every E3 for PlayStation now. But I think they will be the thing for PlayStation. Kind of like how Call of Duty was for Microsoft for a couple of years, where it was like they ended the show with them most of the time. I think Destiny 2 will be the headliner next year for E3 for PlayStation. So, yeah, I don't think that's too crazy. Obviously, it might not happen, but I'm not going out there and doing tarot cards or something, coming up with some crazy predictions. I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything. We had some predictions for PSVR. We had some predictions for third party and first party. Any predictions for Pro? Will the Pro get like a remodel? Do you guys think there will be a PS4 Pro Slim? Anything with that? You think they're just nothing with consoles anymore for the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think they're done for a while. I think they should be until the PS5 at this point. I think they're good with the solid lineup that they have.
The only thing that'll happen there is they might drop the price if one of my other predictions comes true, and we'll get to that in a second.